Welcome back to our GPET episode number 3. Professor Khurana, last episode we talked about technological environment and we talked about the bills which have been latestly passed in Indian Parliament. Now, how you view its implication globally? Will it affect balance of trades? Will it affect currency rates? Or will it affect the electronics overall? How is it going to affect electronic industry basically?
You see, in technologies, you can say basically there are three things. One is advanced work in basic subjects, physics and chemistry and so on, biology, and then leading to what might we call products.
Right.
It just so happens in semiconductors, in rockets, in satellites. A lot of work has been done in the universities in the US.
Right.
And there is exactly the opposite. It has not been done in the universities in countries like ours.
Less work has been done.
Negligible.
We can
in
say
the university.
Very minuscule work.
In the universities.
Right.
In the CSIR labs, yes. Okay, but let me finish the issue. Then there is a question of taking this technology, even if it has been worked, to the companies or to the startups. Obviously, US has been the best in that, right? Because of the startup systems. And startup systems around an ecosystem there, let's say around universities like Stanford and MIT and so on. So one in the east and the other one in the California coast. And the California coast startup system, tying up with what's happening in the university, and those people themselves coming out, like Intel I mentioned, doing this. Only lately in our context in the satellites, when they've opened up the policy, because otherwise private satellites would not be launched by ISRO. And of course they will not allow satellites to be launched elsewhere. That is a little opening up. But it is massive outside, to the extent that NASA today hardly does any launch work. So SpaceX and the other companies, and then in terms of the networks, it's the Hugh and so on and so forth. And then our friend Elon Musk ties up all this together.
Right.
And also wants us to go to Moon and Mars, by paying a few $1 million each. Okay? Now, and they advertise these things quite a lot. They promote these things quite a lot. And the networking among the universities, among the innovators, among the companies' R&D departments, and massive patenting which happens. In many of these companies in the US today, what we call technology companies, the number of lawyers is more than the number of engineers.
Right, but if talking about India also, probably we must not have done much of the work in satellite area, but a lot of work in the area of drones have been done by our IITs.
It's the other way around. In drones, it is next to zero. I'll tell you why. First of all, you'll find it very difficult to say what is the technology which has been devised there in the IITs. Otherwise, a drone, small drone, kids in UK and Europe and Korea and Japan do it as their 10+2 project. What is there in drone?
Yeah, but they have come up with a lot of new innovations in terms of smart agriculture, in terms of...
Okay. That's applications. Let's go to the next step. How much of it has got practically implemented through companies in India?
Yeah, that work is going on.
That's the point I'm saying.
That work is still going on.
If you say that it is going on, China is making drones by the lakhs now.
But there is one...
Turkey is making it by the tens of thousands.
One organization, and Dr. Sunita is there. She's taking care of it and she has scaled up to a large. And recently we had that drone show during our 26th January parade also, where they made the map of India and that all was done by IIT Delhi.
Now that you raised the issue, I hold back from the rest of the satellites except to say that one was large communication satellites and putting them up in the higher orbits. And the second methodology, which India had actually promoted quite a bit, research-wise, ISRO, was low Earth orbiting satellites. But what you do is that you put up a lot of them, 1,000, 1,500, and then you cover whole of the world, and every angle of it, forests and tunnels and ships and seas and so on, which the normal communication satellites don't do because the market is very small there.
Right.
Okay. Having said this, SpaceX has done it. And the second company, the only company which has been able to do this, called Web One. Now, Web One is the name given by Bharti Enterprises, that means Airtel. Company is registered in UK. Because there was another startup 15 years ago which tried this model, but after putting up 30, 40, 50 satellites, it ran out of money. Okay. And there was no success because unless you are able to put all those 1,000 or 1,500, you don't have a seamless system. You can't just say that I will give it to you in such and such county and not give you the next one and so on and so forth. So the UK government actually bought out the initial those guys. Bharti came in, they invited actually. Bharti. But it is Bharti Global, it is not the Indian Airtel. That means coming via Africa because they are very strong in Africa too. So they have put it up. Now, in the beginning, they were also going to NASA, maybe one or two European agency, but it was very expensive. So they have come to India. And ISRO has already put up 360 satellites of theirs at a cost which is a fraction of what they would have paid if it was NASA. Now there is the question of competition here, therefore. Otherwise, SpaceX with its muscle and image and of course financial muscle, because they can always take money from the investors too. It doesn't have to be personal money. Could have killed anybody else. So the problem is, how to fight with such financially endowed parties also, right? If he was in India, my guess is he would not have been able to succeed. Because he's sitting in London and the UK government is supporting it. That's why actually he will make it because circumstances of COVID brought him near ISRO. Nobody else will do this. And ISRO, having done it, now has a record which says that we have launched 1,200 satellites and our safety record is 100%.
Right.
All of them are successfully launched and all of them are successfully positioned and they have not got disintegrated there. Right. You're asking something?
I was just talking about that. I think we are deviating from the topic. We were more interested in knowing its impact globally on balance of trade or
This is globally. This is globally is that if SpaceX was alone, they would have kept price very high. Because it is for applications where governments would want that, people who are in the forest or who are on the ships, etc., should have the connection also. But because Bharati is coming, has come, the prices won't be high.
Okay. So that will control the
And
prices.
that is why I was saying, because now their launch costs are lower. Their launch costs are higher. Their launch costs are higher, but it's not that NASA is charging them high. It is a sister company, which is a launching company, which is charging them high. And the rest of the world, the prices are high. Now, if the credibility was not there, it won't be possible. This technical capability has been there before, but you have to prove it.
Exactly.
So, and therefore this is global. This is a global industry with only two players as of now. Maybe more once they're successful. But then by that time, they would have tied up for kind of exclusive rights with the countries. Like Elon Musk is not that interested in the EV car here. He is interested in taking this license of working in India for SpaceX. Okay, so that's the quid pro quo. So I will stop it there to say that how an Indian company, now whether it's the UK government gives the money or the Indian government gives the money, without that he wouldn't have been able to take off anything because risk has to be distributed. And it was by chance that earlier guy had backed off. But then he has an eyes are open to be able to see that there is a possibility. And it is going to be good for whole of the coming. So rest of the satellite related things we'll talk some other time. That, now the game has changed. These small satellites are given as school projects these days, not even college. They do it.
Right.
And in our case also, one school and one individual small startup have, in the previous launch, have put up their satellites. So therefore it's coming like this. Is called diffusion of technology. So yesterday it is Hawa, satellites, rockets, this, that. And tomorrow you're doing it because actually it was never a Hawa. You made it a Hawa.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Professor Khurana, for giving it such a diverse view that we are able to look at from geopolitical angle, economic angle, and all such, yes, technological, of course, all such angles. So here we end with our episode 3. We'll come back with episode 4 with much more news related to geopolitical, economic, environmental, and technological issues.